Ernie's been in touch. Morning, Ernie.
Morning, Ernie.
It says, Ms Ranyer is showing her true colours by dancing the night away in an Ibiza drugs den.
Oh.
I don't know if that's necessary.
It's a nightclub, isn't it?
It is, not everyone.
I mean, people have a view on whether drugs are going on in nightclubs,
I'm
but...
sure there was some drugs going on, because it tends to be in these places, doesn't there? But not everybody.
Not a drugs den.
I used to go to clubs in my younger days. I never did any of that, and guarantee you
A few weeks ago, wasn't it? You were going clubbing?
Yeah.
Brenda says, right, I'm officially
ago.
fed up of seeing that Ranyer video. I'd sort of totally agree with you. So blinking what, you know? I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Some people are infuriated because they think she's now... she's Deputy Prime Minister, remember, Deputy Prime Minister. Yeah. Is it befitting? You know, is it the right sort of behaviour we'd expect?
I don't care. I've got to be honest, I don't really care. Away from politics, without thinking about I'm not sort of having any political view. I'm just saying I don't really care. Does it really matter? She's just letting her hair down for... I don't know why she was going there, why she... But, I mean...
But she wasn't being outrageous either, was she?
No.
For heaven's sake.
No.
I do think she's got some moves. But compared to my standards of dancing...
Well, yeah.
No.
I mean, I think what it says there is that cameras follow you everywhere now, don't they? If you're a public figure particularly, you're never away from somebody's camera. No. But I don't see that she'd mind that. What the heck's she doing that's so appalling?
No, it's sort of fair enough, really. However, it's upsetting a lot of people.
It really is.
In a week where we've had all this smoking ban stuff, we had this great doom and gloom speech from the Prime Minister and warnings of the budget that are going to be horrific, apparently, in October. So maybe that's why people are a bit fed up, thinking, well, why is she going and having a good time when the rest of us are sort of biting our nails, wondering what's going to come over the next couple of months? Political commentator Piers Pottinger is here. Good morning, Piers. I mean, it has been a week of doom and gloom, actually.
It has, yes. And I think I don't blame Angela Ranyer for going out and having a bit of fun, because there wasn't much fun for coming out of the government this week, and there's obviously going to be worse to come. From the way he was talking about the budget in October. I think it's going to be dreadful. Keir Starlin, as I call him, is back to old Labour. There's nothing new about this Labour. It's back to the 70s.
Well, except the argument against that would be, well, you know, it's going to be tough because he's been left in a very tough situation.
Yeah, well, I mean, every government plays that card. And also, a lot of this black hole has actually been created by what Rachel Reeves has done by handing out these huge pay awards to public service workers way above inflation. And in fact, everything this government has done so far has done the reverse of growth, which is what they keep talking about. It's actually driving the economy down. And everything they've done is penalise people, take things away from pensioners, put on a ridiculous tax on public schools, which is utterly unfair and purely out of spite. They're completely failing to discuss immigration. And in fact, of the 63,000 people, so-called asylum seekers, awaiting news, at least it's estimated 70% of those will end up on welfare and disappear off the radar because statistics in welfare don't spell out nationality. So what Yvette Cooper is doing is not only keeping these people here, but keeping them on benefit, which is going to cost that alone the country £18 billion in the lifetime of these so-called asylum seekers. So the government's missing the big issues. Keir Starmer, the more you see of him, the less you know about him. He doesn't give anything away about what he's really thinking. He's known amongst the people I've talked to as someone who is ruthless, authoritarian, will not countenance people telling him he might be wrong. It's a very worrying situation. On top of that, you've got GB Energy, a ludicrous confection. I happened to be with two of Britain's biggest investors this week, and I asked them, would they invest in GB Energy? Because Ed Miliband keeps saying we're going to get a lot of this from private investors. Both of them, and these are the two biggest single investment companies in this country, both of them said not a single penny.
Why?
Because it's a completely flawed company. The policy and strategy is all over the place.
At the moment, to us, it's just a concept.
And the man who's running the policy, and the man who's in charge of policy at GB Energy was until very recently the lawyer for Extinction Rebellion.
Oh, Lord.
So you've got a zealot in Ed Miliband running GB Energy and a lunatic activist in charge of policy at a company that doesn't know quite what it's going to do, how it's going to do it, or who with. And that is £8.4 billion. That's the only thing we know. A number Mr Miliband plucked out of thin air and said this is what the company's going to be worth or is going to cost. Or I mean, even he doesn't know quite what this £8.4 billion means. Nobody does. It's the biggest disaster of this government, and it may be the thing that brings them down.
Oh, but they've got a huge majority still.
They've got a big majority.
They can even afford to annoy some of their own.
Well, they've got a big majority, but on the other hand, they've only got a very small percentage of the vote. It's about 16% of the actual vote. And that is of the people that voted, and that was only 33%. So the majority of the country are not with them.
No, but they've got 5 years, Piers.
They've got 5 years, but even governments with big majorities sometimes don't last that long. And Labour have already got problems within their own party. They've got the 7 suspended MPs who are not going to lie down and simply go away. People like John McConnell, a Corbynista, it will never simply melt away.
But they haven't got an effective opposition of any sort.
Well, that's the biggest problem. And, of course, next week we'll have the first voting for the new Conservative leader. It'll be down to 4. But then I think you'll get all 4 trying to show off in the House. And don't forget, Parliament's been in recess. Of course, Starmer has used this recess to do an awful lot of these things without the scrutiny of Parliament, which, again, is really rather naughty. It's like the way he's going abroad and saying he's going to reset the relationship with Europe. Well, he does need to be reminded that the people of this country voted by the majority, and it was a big vote, to come out of Brexit. So he has no mandate to go back and start trying to reset it. In fact, both Germany and France are laughing all the way to the bank. They just think, here he is on bended knees begging, "Go, can you be nice to us again? I'm new." I mean, it's pathetic.
What about this other thing that's making people very uneasy and talking about harking back to the 70s?
Yeah.
Is this sort of authoritarianism, this, if I don't like something, I'll ban it.
Yes.
And now proposing to ban outdoor smoking, which the leisure industry, not the entertainment industry, the hospitality industry, is in absolute panic about.
Yeah, quite rightly. I mean, why are they suddenly doing these, quite frankly, just nasty things? It's certainly not going to help any part of the economy. But I think that's a very poor excuse, because people smoking in gardens, I mean, they talk about it's causing 80,000 deaths a year. I don't know where that statistic comes
but you
from.
look at, I mean, and there's a lot from people saying, well, people should have personal choice.
Yes.
There's a lot of anger.
Yes.
You look at the national polling on the issue, and actually people are in favour of the ban.
Yeah, I think that's true, because, I mean, I used to smoke, gave up when my first child was born, and, I mean, I am, like all converts, very anti-smoking. I think most people are these days, but I do think freedom of choice is something, once you start taking it away, what'll be next? There'll be minimum pricing on alcohol,
yes,
and that could really damage pubs and off licences as well. I mean, the point is, there's no stimulus for the economy. There may be, they're obsessed with public finances, which is different to the economy. The economy, it includes the industry and everyone else. And they also are obsessed with this phrase, working people. Working people have savings, working people have houses, working people have cars, and they're all going to be affected if these veiled threats happen. In October, everyone is going to be hit very hard.
We shall have to wait and see. Piers, thanks very much indeed. Clive's been in touch. I know why Angela Ranyer was raving in Ibiza. It's the only place you can have a smoke in peace.
Oh.
Because she's a smoker, isn't she?
Yes, she is. Yeah.
She could probably do it in the club over there. She'd be fine.